Not enough people know about this or are talking about this in 2023, and in this video I'm going to tell you exactly how you can combine two strategies to maximize your profits. There are two strategies in property that on their own are great, but when you combine them, they bring unbelievable results. If you're not in the property space full time, you may have heard of one of them. I'd be very surprised if you'd heard of the second, and combining the two, I'd be shocked if you had heard anyone talking about this. There's even a further strategy that you can adopt where it brings you in cash flow whilst you're going through the purchasing process. Hey everyone, it's Johnny Marsden here, and if you're new to the channel, let me give you a quick introduction. I've been investing in property now for over 10 years, and I make these videos so you can hopefully learn some stuff for free and adopt some of the knowledge that I give and take it into purchasing property yourself and making money in property yourself. Alternatively, if you do not have the time or the energy or the confidence to do it on your own, I offer a service where I partner up with people just like you and we make money together in property. If you want to get hold of me, I'll leave my contact details just in the description below, and we can book in a free, no obligation discovery call just to work out whether or not we can work together, and we'll take it from there. If this video does well enough, I'll release a part 2 which will go through the numbers on a deal that we're negotiating right now that adopts all three of these strategies, and you can see how this works firsthand in 2023. Most people understand the basic concept of flipping a property. So you find a property that you can add value to. More often than not, this is done through a refurbishment, but it can be done through an extension. Maybe you go into the loft, maybe there's land on the side that you can build another property on. But standardly, you'll find a property, you'll negotiate on that property, you'll take that property through legals, you'll exchange on that property, and then about a week or so later, you will complete on that property. But here between exchange and completion is where you will add massive value by adopting this first strategy. This is called exchange with delayed completion. And exchange with delayed completion differs from how you would standardly purchase a property because you delay the time between exchanging contracts and completing contracts. Normally on exchange, you put down a deposit which contractually obliges you to purchasing the property, and then a week or so later you will fully complete on the property by transferring the rest of the funds. An exchange with delayed completion, however, means you exchange as you normally would, but you delay the completion for a certain amount of time. Normally, you would do this by a number of years. Now you might be thinking, well, how on earth is this strategy going to benefit me? Well, when you adopt this and combine this with the strategy that I'm going to tell you about next, you'll see. I like buying leasehold property, and leasehold property in the UK is more often than not a flat or a maisonette, basically where a freeholder owns the entire block and a leaseholder will be leasing the flat or maisonette inside that block. When someone is buying a flat, they're never really owning it. They're just leasing it for a long period of time. So they lease it for as long as is left on the lease. If you want to know more about the leases, then I'll link a video up here or up here of a case study that I made not too long ago. Anyway, now that you've got an overarching understanding of leasehold property and that leasehold property is never really owned when you purchase, it's just leased for however is left on the lease, I'll also let you know that you can extend this time and extend the amount of years left on the lease, but it comes at a cost. When you buy a leasehold property, you should know from the very start how many years are left on the lease. If it's anything below 80 years, it's very difficult to get a mortgage on it. So to stop that, you should contact a freeholder and inquire about extending the lease. And as I said, this comes at a cost, and the lower amount of years left on the lease, the higher the cost will be. Now put yourself in the position of a leasehold seller that has their lease below 80 years. They will struggle to sell it on the open market because not many lenders will lend against a leasehold property that has fallen below 80 years. The longer they have that property, the more expensive it's going to cost them to extend the lease. And then even if they do find a cash buyer for the property, not many first-time buyers or home buyers are going to want to go through the whole lease extension process. So they really only have an investor to purchase the property. And this is where we can come in and hopefully provide a win-win solution for both us, the investor, and the seller. There's a lot of management to go through in the lease extension process. It's a lot of people to involve, and speed and efficiency is the most important thing to maximising your profits and getting it over the line quick enough. Now combine the two: exchange with delayed completion and a lease extension. We can exchange on a property for only a fraction of its full price. We can delay the completion for a number of years, let's say 3 years in this example, and we can start the lease extension process without having to fully financially commit to the full purchase price of the property, meaning we are saving a lot of our capital. We're not having to put forward a lot of our funds. Now, to really maximise your position here, you should adopt a third and final strategy. Take a keys undertaking of the property on exchange, and also sign the vendor up, sign the seller up to a rent-to-rent style agreement, which means on exchange, you can go in, refurbish the property, but also you can take full management of the property and let it out, receiving the rental income yourself. And that's not even where the benefits end. What if I told you that by doing this and adopting this strategy, you can actually bypass stamp duty? The plan here is never really to complete on the property yourself. You want to add value to it by extending the lease, potentially a refurbishment as well. And by extending the lease, you've made it mortgageable. You then want to put the property onto the open market, and now it's mortgageable. Guess what? The pool of buyers has opened up. What you can do here is you can assign the benefit of the purchase to an onward buyer. And when the buyer completes, the remainder of the original agreed purchase price with the leaseholder, so the purchase price you agreed right at the very start, this goes to them, and then any profit made on that after comes to you or comes to us. The reason you can bypass stamp duty here is stamp duty is only payable on completion of a property. We never complete on the property, the onward buyer does. So no stamp duty to pay either. And this is why I love combining these three strategies. You can take control of a property for a fraction of its price, receive great rental income, and completely bypass stamp duty. And you do all of this without actually ever fully owning the property yourself. Now, I would be an idiot for completely disregarding any of the drawbacks here. So obviously the main drawback is the fact that what if you can't find an onward buyer and you have to complete on the property yourself? There are always going to be risks involved in investing, particularly when investing in property as well. And our job is to mitigate that risk as much as possible. The best way to mitigate these risks is agree a good and sensible purchase price up front, something that you know is going to be affordable at the end of your delayed completion time. Additionally, you want to agree a sensible delayed completion time too. So maybe not 6 months or 9 months. Do something that works for both you and the seller, but also gives you enough time to be able to purchase should you need to. And thirdly, save some of the money from the rental potentially. You'll be receiving a lot of rent through this strategy, and if you can put some aside and put that towards a potential purchase at the end of the term, it can save you a little bit of cash in the long run. Right, that's it for another video. Hopefully you got loads of value from this, and now you've got a bit of an understanding of how to combine these strategies and make some money in UK property in 2023. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way I pop straight into your inbox. Particularly comment on this one because it's a lot. It can be quite overwhelming. So if there's anything more that you want to know, or maybe there's something you would have done differently, let me know. I want to answer your questions. I'll see you in the next video.